guys, welcome to the finale of the 12 days of Matryoshkas. So you can see here that I have finished the little booklet and I am popping that in the journal that I'm using for December daily. So we made that art journal on the channel and you can see here like the colour palettes I've used for the ones that we've been doing, but I made that journal on the channel so you can go back and look through it and see how that was made. And I'm using this to kind of represent the 12 days of Christmas that we did and to talk a little bit about that. So you can see here that I did these little ones on off camera. They're just way too tiny to kind of film, and you'll see throughout the video what I mean. And you can also see the poor little purple one. As the smaller that they get, it was harder to kind of wait and not let the watercolor bleed up into the face area and things like that. So the little purple one needs to be redone, but I feel like the more I worked on it, the more, you know, further away from what I was trying to achieve I got. But anyway, so today we are working on these two. So this one and then another one. I think it equates to numbers 6 and 7, and we're also going to create some darker skin tones on these. So I had thought about doing this earlier, but some of the girls in our area and some of the ones that we know have these gorgeous hairdos, hairstyles, and the coils and the braids, and they're so beautiful, and I was thinking whether or not I could figure out how to draw that, but I think I need more time. Which brings me to my next point, and that is that so I worked on trying to figure out how to create some beginner faces. So later on in the year, I want to do some more advanced faces, and if you're a beginner, and then I have had some requests for this is such a good way to, you know, start learning sort of facial structure, facial features, without it being overly difficult. And so there's a freebie on my blog, I will link it below, and there's also the 12 Matryoshkas PDF in my Etsy shop, and I'll also link that. And so if you are interested in sort of getting more advanced or learning more about faces this year, this is a great place to start. So this is one of the reasons I really wanted to do this project. And so you can see throughout the project that I have just traced these from the PDFs onto my paper just using the window as a light box. But you can also just cut out and I've also done it with like a little tool and sort of used that to emboss the outline. So just going straight over what you can see here onto your watercolor paper and leaving a little bit of an embossed line around it. You can also just, you know, print it onto like some cotton paper and just use that to either color them in or watercolor them. But I wanted you to have a really nice foundation for some different faces that we will look at this year, and, you know, different facial structure and things. So you can see here that for the darker skin tones I'm using, so I think for this one I'm using Sedona and the Van Dyke Brown, and then also some of the, what's it called? So it's one from Earth Mineral Arts, but you can also use like the French ochre. I can't remember what it's called right now, but I'll try and link it below. And you can see, as always, for my faces, or, you know, for my watercolors, this is a very watery version of the mix. So there's quite a lot of, you know, ratio of water to pigment. And then I'm also trying to be careful not to let it touch the actual shawl part of the painting. So I'm trying to leave just a sliver of paper there because of what happened with the little purple one, and just it was, you know, just didn't work very well. So I'm trying to not let those touch, just in case I haven't waited long enough for the shawl to dry. And then the other thing here is, so this one will be in shell pink. The one previously was in like the lemon yellow and French ochre, and what you'll be able to see at the end is I am still kind of doing a progression through the colorscape, so, or the color wheel. So I am trying to kind of decide which colors that I want to come next and make it really pretty. So I went through from pink, red, purple, blue, green, yellow, and then I'm starting back at the pink, but this is a very soft pink. So every time now that I repeat sort of the color, so the next one will be more of the reds, but it's like a more pink red. So every time I repeat the color, like when I did the purples, I'm doing darker purples, whereas last time I did really soft purples. So I'm giving the repeat a little twist is what I'm trying to say. So instead of making it the same, whereas you could also do all of these and create the same pattern and the same color on each Matryoshka as well. So you can see there how the three, I've kind of got the one previous to it, and then I'm putting the one that's going to come after it next to it, so I can kind of see where I want this one to land in the middle of it. And so I'm using just pearl white on the body here. I used Phantom Fire in the middle, and I used Phantom Fire in the middle of for the frame in the one before, and I also used the Turner Grey Gold. So I'm trying to keep some of the colours consistent throughout the range so that it ties it all together a little bit, even though it's quite colourful. Okay, so now we are working on an even darker skin tone. So this one is Hematite Violet and, what is it? And roasted French ochre, so it's similar to a burnt sienna. So I'm using something really dark and then also toning that back to create always when you're mixing skin tones, you want to use a few different things to create a bit of a complex color story. So for the lighter skin tones, I've used Chinabrese. I also would mix it sometimes with a bit of French ochre or something else, but the Chinabrese I think is already a 3 color mix, so it's already got that complexity for me. And so if you're wondering about any of these colors, you can most of them, so you can ask me in the comments, but most of them will be on my 2020 favorites watercolor video. So that will hopefully, I've already edited and filmed it, so I just need to voice over that, and then hopefully that will be up in the morning as well. So we can have a bit of a swatching party on New Year's Eve. Okay, so if you want to see the process for drawing any of the eyes, I do that in the larger dolls in the previous videos, so you can see, but I didn't really do that on camera in this one, because for these smaller dolls, even when I hold the, like when I zoom in, if I've got the camera overhead and I zoom in, it sort of goes blurry and it's just too far away, so I'm actually holding the camera in front of the paper and I'm painting through the camera. So I'm sort of struggling to hand-eye coordination to actually see what I'm doing here. That's why for some of the details I just have skipped that, you know, filming that, so that, like you can see here, I made a little mistake, happy little accident, so I just made that as part of the decoration on the shawl. So another thing that ties the range together is the kind of pattern that I have done on the shawl there, And also around the heads, I don't really show it on these ones, but I decided to do kind of a little, like a small half circle, large half circle. So you can see here, I'm constantly turning them around depending on, you know, where I need to paint, and trying to make sure that that line, you know, I can do it carefully and it looks a little bit seamless, even though it doesn't matter if, you know, it doesn't have to look seamless, but I just try and do it as best as I can. So one thing I just realized, actually voiceovering this, is that I forgot to do anything in the middle medallion there. So there are a couple of things I needed to sort of go back and revisit, the little purple one and so you can see here, like every time I tried to fix it, it just kept getting worse and worse. But that's the good thing about having the printouts, is that you can just cut them out and paint or colour them. You don't have to draw them if you don't want to yet. And so I'm just showing you here what they look like, and I'm also going to use some of these in other places throughout my journaling and just some different things as well. And so I will show you that as I go along. I've got quite a few videos that I want to get uploaded and done for Heirloom Luxe, but I just keep seeming to run out of time. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks I will have a little bit of time to catch up on that. But you can see here how nicely this is all coming together, and so I'm creating kind of this little booklet, and they're all attached at the bottom with a brad. So you could also put like string through and tie a ribbon, you know, or do sort of all sorts of different things. But I think this would even be nice to send somebody, like cut these out, print them out, cut them out, and just send it as a little colouring booklet as well. So there's so many different things that you can do with this. And you can see here that it's not a traditional sort of colour wheel the way that I've created it, but I've just created sort of a rainbow configuration, I guess, with you know, then another tier of more like the refracted light from the layers of a prism. So, and then I've also edged everything, pretty much everything, in gold or some sort of pearlescent or metallic watercolor to also bring that sparkle out and bring that all together. So it is a really fun exercise and a fun thing to do. I think someone would really love getting one of these in the mail. And if you have little ones, or I know some of you are painting with your like grandkids, then you can print out a copy for them and a copy for you. I think the hardest thing for me, so I'm getting sort of questions all the time about, you know, doing more complicated things. But if you're a beginner, you know, I also want to be able to cater for that and help you to get to the more complicated things. So you know, a lot of these videos that I did in the advent calendar, I wanted to be able to have that there as a resource for you, and as a way to just paint some really fun things, some easy things, things that can familiarize you with your paints and, you know, color schemes that you want to create, different color palettes. I also wanted to say thank you for all the wonderful comments that I've had through December and through the whole year. I will do a yearly wrap up, hopefully maybe New Year's Day, and I just wanted to say how much I've appreciated everyone. I know some of you have been there since the beginning of the year, some of you have been there since even before that, since Heirloom Luxe, and so I have really appreciated you being a part of the channel, and I hope that it has, it can help you with your watercolors, with picking colors and increasing the skill level, but also just doing something relaxing and something fun and something that we can all kind of appreciate together. I know I really love it when I get a comment like that you have been, having sort of a colour mixing party or something like that. It's really lovely. So I hope you have enjoyed this series and the sort of videos for December, and I will have the 2020 favourite watercolours video out tomorrow, and then the sort of a wrap up for December and a different wrap up for the year, because there's a few different things, and hopefully I can get a few shots in there that I might not have shown through December or through the through the videos through the year as well. And I am slowly working through the comments, so hopefully I will have those all caught up at some point. But I really wanted to say I hope you had a lovely Christmas and you've had a lovely relaxing week, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow with a couple more videos. Bye.